Welcome everyone, and today I am starting a new series, and this is only for the end game where I will teach you the end game from the beginning to the advance, and I will create a course as well in that one, which is completely free on a chess. It will be available, so you can study from the beginning to advance, and wherever you think that this thing you already know, so you can skip the video and you can just move to the next one, as well as I will make a specific playlist for this also. Okay, now let's come to the topic. So today you have the topic that is king and queen versus a lone king or a single king, where you have a king and a queen and opponent has a single queen and you have to checkmate. I'm sorry, a king, and you have to checkmate. Now, in an end game, why a lot of players make a blunder because they think on a basis of the calculation. Okay, but when you are dealing with an end game, you will not focus only on the calculation. You will focus on the principles as well. That if this position is like this, then this principle you have to apply. Like a steps will be given, the principles are there. Okay, on that one also you have to rely, and you have to use calculation like a supplementary. Okay, you have to do like a combination. It's not like you're just using a calculation or you're just sticking only with the principle, but you cannot ignore the principles, especially when you're dealing with the end games. Now let's come to this question. Now over here you have to focus on the 4 steps. Okay, so step number 1, I will be already given the steps in the description, as well as on the video. You can see on the side or maybe on the top you will see the steps. 1 is select the last line. Last line means where the pieces cannot go beyond. For example, a file. From a file, chess pieces cannot go beyond. From the 8th rank, from the h file, and from the first rank, the pieces cannot go beyond. Why this is important? Because we wanted to push the king towards that, because the single king and queen cannot checkmate when the king is on the center squares. So we have to push the king. Now, step number 2. When you select the last line, okay, you can select like this one and this one, because we have to force the queen, the opponent's king over there. Now, step number 2. Take the knight pattern distance between your queen and opponent's king. Okay, why it is important? Over here, you can see that the king can move on this particular squares, like approximate the 7 squares it can go. But when you will play, example, the move is queen to e3, you will see this is a knight pattern distance between opponent's king and your queen. And here you will see that the king now only can move on the particularly 3 squares, right? So this queen is controlling this diagonal as well as this file. So when the king will move back, example, then again queen to e4, you will take the knight pattern distance. Again you will take the knight pattern distance, and you can see the opponent's king is moving towards the selected last line of yours. And if the king moves on this file, no need to worry about it. And when the opponent's king will reach on the last line, here it comes a step number 3, that is control the second last line. So when opponent's king is on the last line, your queen should be on the second last line. So where you will move the queen? You will move on the queen on g7. So you are just moving the second last line. Basically, you can say the upper file or the upper rank of the selected line, that is file or a rank. For example, if a file is the last line, then b file will become second last line. If the opponent's king move to the h file, then you will go to the g file with your queen, so that the king cannot move up. And if it's on the first rank, then your queen will be on the second rank, and just restrict the king to move up. And now, as you can see, the black's king cannot move up. Now, the 4th step, the final one, you just have to bring the king on the third last line, so that you can protect the queen and finally you can deliver the checkmate. So king moves on a b8, I will move the king on c3, king moves on a8, king moves on a b4, and you can see I'm just moving my king towards opponent's king. Like in which direction the king is moving, I'm moving in that direction also, as well as I'm moving closer. So it's like this, and when he will move here, I move this one. So finally I just come on the third last line, and if the king moves on a d8, I will move to the d7, and this is checkmate. And if the king moves on a b8, then I will move on a b7, and this is check. Now the one query which I have to address, like after the move, for example, the knight pattern, lot of time the king just comes to, again there is a knight pattern, as you can see. Oopsie, as you can see over here, again there is a knight pattern. And the basic idea of the player is like he just wanted to do back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just wanted to spend the time. Over here, you have to use your king and take a control of the one of the squares so that the king cannot move like back and forth in this one. So example here, I will just move my king on a c3, and after the king moves to d6, I will simply just move my king on a c4, or maybe I can go for a move b4, and in both of the situation, I took the control of the c5 square. So now the king cannot move that back and forth, and he just have to go back. And again, I will take the knight pattern distance between opponent's king and your king. Just practice it out and be good in this endgame. Thank you so much for watching.